Hello! We are back. This is the long-anticipated finals of King's Court Pokemon League. It's been a long season, a lot of hard-fought battles, but at the end of the day, only 2 teams remain fighting it out for that #1 spot. Joining us in this matchup today, we have Kindo, Doopy Gap. He is piloting his team, Wigga Whoop, facing up against Jamaarkques in his Pallet Town Mafia. So, going to be a very interesting game today. Joining me is Rexalis. Say hello.
Hello, that's me.
Yes, sir. And they're just
Third
jumping
place,
right into it.
sorry. Oh, my bad. My bad.
Lando getting up rocks, but nice little confusion coming out from Petron. Gonna force a switch, most likely. And some nice damage on Lando. All in all, a pretty decent start for Jamaarkques, but rocks up are a pretty big deal, so.
I'm surprised he chooses actually staying with Petron turn 1 or even lead Petron. That's an odd lead, I feel, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, nasty ball coming out from Lucario. Off a rip.
Is very threatening.
His flash cannon, this could hurt.
Yeah,
a lot.
Throughout playoffs, we've pretty much only seen that Swords Dance Extreme Speed set, so a big switch up right off the bat, just going for it and taking advantage of that free turn as Psychic comes out. Wow, instantly killing Weezing, and that is going to be the first Pokemon gone. That's kind of a big summary of this matchup. As you can see, Kindo's team, very offensive, wants to just swing right out of the bat, but Jamaarkques' team, a little slower, more bouncy, more stallish, you know. Not really
classic Jamaarkques.
Yeah, it is a classic Jamaarkques team. So kind of a differentiating styles facing off here. So it's going to be interesting to see who comes on top and if Jamaarkques is able to weather the storm of Kindo's offense. Speaking of defense, though, not really the mon you think of when you think of defense, but it is going to be able to threaten out Lucario and put a hold on this threat for now. But
very good switch there, though.
Yeah, great switch. Even Toxic's going to be putting in a lot of work. And now, Zamazenta no longer to be getting that boost on switching, but still going to be very threatening. Going to be very fast and just.
Oh my god, he's reading him like a book, bro.
Wow, great taunt. I mean, Lando's just putting in so much work. Keeps those rocks from going up and gets another Intimidate swap in. So, great play from Kindo so far. Oh my god, and a great switch!
God. This
guy is keeping up the pressure non-stop, and now this Raging Bolt is in. There's no ground types on the side of Jamaarkques. This thing is going to put in a lot of work here. Here comes Orthworm. Could potentially turn Electric type as he goes for the Calm Mind. But if he goes for a Dragon move, it's going to fold. Goes for the Electric type, Thunderbolt.
That was safe.
Safe, but Body Press does nothing. Oh my god, and now Thunderbolt kills.
I'm afraid he's cooked here, bro. I don't, honestly, I don't see...
Yeah, this is looking fantastic. Just opts to go for another Calm Mind as rocks go up, and now this Orthworm is going to be a menace.
I'm sorry, I think this game 1 is over.
I think this might just be game 1. Even if he doesn't win here, it's going to be putting in so much damage. This guy does not want to be eating a Photosynthesis Draco Meteor, even if it is unaware. Oh, and it just kills in one shot. Wow.
Dude,
does manage to get rid of those boost, but man, this is such a big hole opening up.
Oh man!
Wow.
Looking at the 2 different teams, you can see that obviously, like, you know, Kindo wants to keep the games pretty short overall.
Yeah, absolutely.
Draco lands.
Draco does land. Does have the chance to recover here. Doesn't go for it. Goes into that Alomomola. Thunderclap. Not going to be connecting. And he seems to have mostly weathered the storm of this Raging Bolt, but it is not easy. I'll tell you that much.
Jamaarkques should keep the games as long as possible. He knows he can, if he can weather the storm that is Kindo's team, he can just wish flip every mon he has, every fucking defensive pivot, every stall mon that he has on his team. He can cinch this one. But as for game 1, Kindo has come literally swinging out the gate with the offensive pressure, taking out 3 of Jamaarkques' mons in just a few turns.
Absolutely. This Raging Bolt showing why it's considered one of the best Pokemon in the league. You know, it struggles a little into faster teams, but I mean, it can't really be punished by slower teams like this, and it just does so much damage. Just an insane amount. Protect comes out, gonna be putting him back at full HP, meaning he gets his shell over bracket. No, it doesn't.
Not quite.
Wow. due to some weird rounding errors coming out, but just gets the Intimidated off, and now the ball is kind of back in Kindo's court. So it's honestly up to him what he goes for here. I'm thinking probably, I mean, I think one of Jirachi or Greninja is probably scarfed to deal with this Zamazenta and act as a potential revenge killer, but we don't know for sure. I'd imagine one of them is coming out here, though. This Raging Bolt comes out instead. Could go for that potential Thunderclap, but could also just read a switch and go for a raw Draco Meteor or a Thunderbolt.
Yeah, I have to think that he's just going for a Thunderclap here. Oh, because obviously it would be faster, but he does
There's
go for
Draco.
Does elect the Draco
Mola
Meteor
is
here.
down, and it's gonna have to be. I mean, Petron's so low, it's gonna have to be all up to this Zamazenta.
Okay, now he goes for the Thunderclap.
Yeah, gonna be getting a nice little bit of chip. 19,
There it goes.
and Zamazenta already looking rough.
Unless he's choiced, I'm surprised he elected for the.
Oh, there's that Scarf Jirachi,
Yeah,
and that's just gonna be Zen Headbutt cleaning up this game. Unless we see a miss right here, we don't.
no.
And that is game 1 of Grand Finals, going over to
23
Kindo.
games for 3 turns. Wow.
Yeah, exactly the pace that he wants to be keeping these games out. You know, once you start getting dragged out into these 30, 40, 50 turn games, it just gets way better for Jamaarkques. So absolutely the style of Pokemon that he wants these games to be. And honestly, a very, very great showing from Kindo Game 1. I think that was really well played from him.
I agree. I, from experience, would know that once Jamaarkques gets you, once Jamaarkques gets going, it gets rough. I'll tell you that much. But Kindo is coming out, swinging out the gate. He's doing exactly what he needs to do. He's getting, keeping up the offensive pressure, getting the switches that he needs, forcing Jamaarkques to take hits that he doesn't want to take. Beautiful, honestly. Beautiful game 1 from Kindo. I gotta hand it to him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think another benefit going in for Kindo is that he honestly has a lot of information that he has concealed, even winning game 1. Greninja didn't come out at all. Zero idea about that set. Could be Battle Bond, could be Protein. We didn't really see much of Terapagos, so that's another factor that should probably be a question mark in Jamaarkques' head. But we're just going to have to wait and see what adjustments Jamaarkques will be making going into Game 2. So we're going to pause it right here and be right back. We are once again back. This is going to be Game 2. Going into this game, Jamaarkques made a few adjustments. This Scizor is one of the most notable ones. So, gonna be a pretty interesting bring. I think it's pretty solid for the most part. But, I mean, there are a lot of resists on this team to that Bullet Punch. And that Lando in general is not really gonna be very afraid of this thing. So, it could work, it might not, you know. But I think in general it's a pretty good answer to these more offensive teams.
Notably, though, the Scizor is the only Pokemon on Jamaarkques' squad that has the most notable move, Knockoff. Of course, and we know that Kindo, not that his mons are very item dependent, but they use the items they use very well, is what I would say. To their advantage. They're pretty crafty, tricky with it. Notably, of course, Choice Scarf Jirachi, maybe something like a Life Orb Lucario, Leftover like Terapagos, these items that, are really prevalent to Kindo's strategy, possibly. If Jamaarkques gets a knockoff, forcing that Mon to come in on the switch, could be detrimental to Kindo's plan. So,
yeah,
we'll have to see what the Scizor can do here for Jamaarkques. But who do you end up replacing for the Scizor?
Weezing Galar is coming out in place of that. We saw it come out, get one defog off, and promptly die to a Lucario last game. So, Jamaarkques, I guess not really feeling it so much after that one. Opts to just switch him out. I think another one of the items talking about that are pretty important, one of the more underappreciated ones, is that Rocky helmet on Lando. Getting a nice, a lot of chip, at least 2 or 3 procs, pretty consistently every game, and it makes it so this Zamazenta is going to be really, really easy to deal with in the long run, especially since most natural switch into that Zamazenta anyways, as we see very different lead matchup from last game. Galapagos going to be staring down Alomomola as he just goes for a Terra Starstorm
Oh my
and deals
god.
70 as that light screen goes up. Fourth Worm comes out as he pours for more info. Scizor coming out. This is still pretty decent for Jamaarkques, this matchup overall, I would say.
I'd agree, but oh, there goes the knockoff as I was talking about.
There's that knockoff. And that's going to be the leftovers down. No more Terra Shell for Terapagos this game. And that light screen is still going to be a pretty big deal for this pretty special team. There's actually notably 4 Mons that are special. Maybe even 5 if Lando is Earthbower.
Another roar.
Yeah.
Notably, this is ticking down the light screen turns, so Kindo is honestly pretty okay with this.
Yeah, does get that flinch there. And now light screen is only down to 3, as we saw. Oh, the Protect comes out, and now it's only 2 turns of light screen left, so good maneuverability here from Kindo, keeping Jamaarkques off that front foot and running light screen all the way down. I mean, the Skeleturge could be slightly scary if he lets it get a few boosts off, as he does right here. He could even go for a slack off here, puts him right back up to full, especially since Protect is likely to come out. But Mark just opts to keep him on the offensive. Dark Pulse comes out. Oh, I feel like
this is a losing strategy from Kindo here.
Yeah,
at the moment.
I think Kindo actually really wanted.
Oh, he didn't go for slack
Terapagos
off
to die there. Yeah, I'm surprised Mark just went for the Torch Song there. I would have opted to try and heal up, but maybe he didn't want to mess around with any flinches. But now this is going to be very revengeable by actually every Pokemon on the side of Kindo. Took a quick look over and noticed that literally all of them are faster. So
this feels like a bluff moment. Will Kindo bluff and go for the nasty plot, or will he stay in?
Yeah, this
and
is
possibly take a Torch Song from Jamaarkques.
Pivotal turn here. This will definitely kill as he goes for Psychic, and it does not kill. Not opting to go for a strong enough move. Neither of his stabs would have done very much, but that is another Mon dealt with by the Skeleturge in a big momentum swing in the favor of Jamaarkques.
That bluff was rough, man. Wait a second. Is the Skeleturge AV? That's Psychic in pretty little.
Could potentially be AV, to be frank with you. That could be a big reason we haven't seen that slack off. Good read there. I didn't even think about that, but that is an item that Jamaarkques loves going for. Here comes that Raging Bolt trying to punish any passivity from this Alomomola, but just going to be able to boost up. That Unaware Mon looking very low, so not going to be able to tank any moves from this Raging Bolt. Going to be free to spam boosted Thunderbolts, and even through Light Screen, it's going to be doing a lot of damage.
Agreed.
Does get that Toxic though, and the Confusion comes out, breaks through, does a crisp little 40, a little less than I thought it would, Frank. This also, to be honest, is a surprisingly bulky Mon. Iapaveri comes out.
Oh, the flinch. Oh, but Lilamola comes out, and this Mon does not mind sitting here all day against Shirachi. That is
absolutely not. It's going to be able to eat as many Iron Heads as it wants, to be honest. Even Zen Head, but only doing 20, so not going to be very threatening, and going to be a pretty free switch. Even if it gets flinched a few times, it's not really going to be any threat of dying. So, good switch from Jamaarkques here, and could potentially go for a Reflect, or just opt to keep momentum with Flip Turn here, as he goes for a Wish instead. But Greninja also not really the most threatening on here, especially with a Wish coming out.
Goes to Psychic type, Flip Turn coming out. I would imagine he goes to the Skeleturge and swap right back out, but
yeah, that could be his play. AV Skeleturge is going to be pretty tanky here, so if he's going to be able to get this back up to a lot of HP, and now off the brink of death, the Skeleturge is going to be fighting another day. Extrasensory only doing 27 as Shadow Ball comes out and picks up the clean kill. And that is another Mon taken off the list by the Skeleturge. Just putting in so much work. Taking out 3 already, and now this booster energy is gone. Not going to be doing the same amount of damage that we saw last game. Even Calm Mind not going to be doing anything as a Luring Voice comes out.
Oh my god.
Using this Raging Bolt Toxic's still going down, and it even walks off another Draco Meteor, and that is 4 for Skeletors this game. An absolute bloodbath. Wow. And
That's crazy.
I feel like Alluring Voice definitely confirms that, yeah, it is just the Assault Vest.
Yeah. I also, though, on a little small mistake on Kindo's part there, noting that, obviously he's probably unaware instead of Blaze. So just setting up in front of it in general, I'm, electing for the chip, what probably would have actually killed the Skeletor if I'm overall, or at least to force the switch. So, but it looks like it's just easy pickets for Jamaarkques here cleaning up. Unless Jirachi is going to manage to flinch its way through 6 Pokemon.
I mean, it's going to be really hard. There is a full HP Orthworm and a full HP Scizor to fight through. So,
it's about that time.
Plus,
oh, no!
This is a move that can miss, so if you're going to be pressing Zen Headbutt, it's going to be really rough. You could honestly just run out of PP here. That's a very, very viable thing here. I mean, Alomomola, even if he does make progress here, it's just going to switch out, but it does eventually break through.
This is just painful to watch.
Goes to Petron as the Zen Headbutt misses, and that's going to be back to full. So, I mean, it's a lot of HP to chew through, and not a lot of Zen Headbutts, frankly. So, I mean, and it's going to be doing even less now. Now that Parting Shot comes out, going to be weakening, and now Scizor is going to be able to bring back momentum, get some offense going back for Jamaarkques, and probably clean up this game too.
There goes the knockoff, take off the Rocky helmet.
There are also 2 Mons left with absolutely no recovery. That's what we've seen, so just staying around long enough is going to be enough for the win con Jamaarkques this game. Fish coming back up, and this should just be... I mean, Scarf is still on, so it is faster. It does get a flinch here, as it's potentially able to 1v1 this if it gets another one.
Don't tell me. Okay, I'm saying it.
Does eventually break through, and that
if he breaks through zombies that day, you know what I'm saying?
Would have been a funny one. But that is a dominant 6-0 from Jamaarkques, a big clapback going into this game too. So definitely big momentum.
I'll tell you what though, cards. Hey, Blaziken, Lucario coming right back physical sets, man.
Yeah, absolutely. That Petron, pretty specially bulky from what we saw, and we saw a lot of AVs. I think that definitely could be the answer for Kindo going into this game 3. There's also just the element of surprise going for Kindo here. There's a lot of variants you can go with his sets, but overall, very well played Jamaarkques to even up this series at 1-1, and gonna be a pretty difficult ask for Kindo to adjust to this. So we're gonna have to stop this right here and come back once game 3 has begun. Kicking off game 3 here, and it looks like as far as Pokemon adjustments are going, Blaziken is in, which I mean could be very, very good here. The main concern, of course, you bring Blaziken is that Skeletor, but we saw it's very specially bulky and most likely Assault Vest last game, so gonna be putting in a lot of work, especially if it's Wake Blaziken. Yes.
I feel like seeing Jamaarkques' team just be so specially ridden, I guess, or especially defensive rather. Ridden. I don't know what the hell I was. Whatever. Especially defensive. I feel like you just go full pivot and just go full physical. I mean, honestly, either that or throw some mix sets in there. Psychic, Zen Headbutt if it gets it. Lucario should do the trick. Pull the 180 on Jamaarkques here in case he specs for the other side. After if he potentially loses here, so it'd
be good.
And the Blaziken is the sign of that happening with, obviously notably a more physically Pokemon.
Absolutely.
Or, dude, attack, whatever. You know what
I
mean? Yeah. He does more attack than special.
Something like that. There is the knockoff
Metal
Burst, and it's some nice damage off of the Rocky Helmet chip. Metal Burst comes out. I'll be honest, don't even know what that move is. Can I be completely honest?
So, when he does damage, he does double damage back to the person that hit him in the swing.
Wow.
Yes.
Good to know, I guess.
It'll be very good on sturdy mons for cheese.
Draco Meteor coming out, and it's going to be the end of Skeledirge. Very, very
The demon that
threatening
plagued
Mon
him.
gone. Yeah. This thing took out 4 Mons last game, and now this game it's the first go. So, it's going to be very good for Kindo, especially with that Alumamola Toxic. One of the biggest enablers of the longevity of this team. So, going to be able to chip down on that pretty heavily. I think Kindo's pretty happy with this start overall.
For sure. You got the rocks up, you got the toxic off on the Alola whittling that down every time it comes in.
Yeah.
You're the happy camper, can't lie.
Absolutely. We saw Rocks taking a crisp 25% there due to that Assault Vest over Heavy Duty Boots. So, going to be very good. And honestly, without Weezing, unless we see a default here from Scizor, they could be staying up for the rest of the game. So, I mean, it could...
I forgot I guessed that, you know?
Yeah, it could potentially be a default Scizor, but Scizor also not going to be doing too much to return into this great Raging Tusk. Great Tusk? What's this thing called?
26% though, that's crazy. Raging Bolt.
That's the guy, yeah. Here comes that Lucario, but a U-turn will make it face Zamazenta and scare it out, bringing Lando out. So good protection from Kindo there, but good switch from Jamaarkques there. As some damage goes down on his Zamazenta, which is pretty nice, because again, it's going to be hard to get wishes off due to this Toxic. So, I mean, any damage on this Zamazenta is pretty valuable. Wow, it eats another one. Wow. A great roll means that Zamazenta is just taken out of the game, and that's one of the biggest threats. Wow,
great. And the taunt coming out here.
Yeah.
Okay,
well, it takes out Lando, but honestly, after Zamazenta is dead, you would gladly take that. It's really only going to be good into the Scizor, but I mean, Zamazenta is by far the biggest threat, so going to be very happy with that trade if you are Kindo here. Absolutely. A Petron comes out. Could be one of the steel types on the side of Kindo to punish this switch in. We haven't really seen much from Lucario or Jirachi, to be honest, so there's a lot of mystery there. You know, there's a lot of different sets that you can run, so bit of a question mark as we do see that Lucario come out. Could potentially threaten out this Petron.
Do I see a Bone Rush coming in? Bone Rush?
Potentially.
Classic move coming out here.
Yeah, I mean, we already saw, what was it, Metal Scraps?
Metal Burst.
Metal Burst. So, I mean, if we're just throwing out the fun moves this series, I'm actually down. I am actually down.
This is a very important turn, though, is like if Jamaarkques gets something good off here, it could potentially swing the whole game in his favor, and this is a very defining turn for Kindo, as I feel if Kindo manages... Hey,
just for the Swords Dance. Parting Shot.
Oh,
okay. Gonna be a net positive trade for Kindo, though, as he goes up +1 stage. Alumamola comes out, gonna be taking some fat damage on switch in, and now, I mean, this might just be in close combat range, to be honest.
No way, I don't think so. Alumamola?
If it's like Adamant, Life Orb, Lucario, it just might be.
Okay.
Here goes Terra Steel.
For another
Swords Dance, and he just goes for a light screen.
Why is he light screen?
And now this is very threatening now.
Oh no! I think that is one of the worst possible moves you could have clicked here in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be worried about the big threat that's in front of you right now.
Yeah.
This is a very big deal. The game is on the line here for sure. I'm not sure this lives in Earthquake. It doesn't.
Earthquake.
Yeah.
No, I think
that
is. Game,
I mean, here comes Earthworm. This is also going to die easily. And
that's a huge blunder by Jamaarkques.
Yeah, this is big. I mean, he does like to run sets without Scald, but I have to think you just have to just flip turn out and not really give him the chance in the first place. Because now the game just ends, and it's going to be revenged by Scizor here, but only 33%, and the defenses drop, and that's just going to be an easy cleanup for Jirachi here.
A flip turn into that Scizor, you know, would have been ideal, you know, and possibly preserving the Earthworm and the Petron in the back to maybe,
Absolutely.
Come out and win the game. But it's just, I don't know. Jamaarkques not. I feel like Jamaarkques not playing up to par of this one so far. To
Yeah.
be honest with you,
I mean,
we've seen a couple of
Scissor's
missteps.
Putting up a fight, but
For a couple games.
gonna be the game going over, even after the Thunder Wave miss, gonna be going over to Kindo. But yeah, I feel like Jamaarkques has made a few blunders, but also I feel like Kindo has done a very great job both responding in the adjustments, and honestly his play has been very great today in the game itself. So gonna be a very intense game 4. Kindo on match point, looking to end up the series, close it out at a crisp little 3-1, but Jamaarkques is gonna have to fight back and bring it back to game 5 if he wants to be taking home the championship and going for this this two-piece, this back-to-back championship. So gonna be very exciting, and we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens going into the next game. Here we are again, game 4. Kindo looking to close it out decisively. He's probably trying to close this out even without going into game 5. It's a big deal if you do bring into that game 5. There's a lot of pressure mounted on you, so I'd imagine he's looking to close it out here, and Jamaarkques looking to claw back. Obviously you'd probably give the advantage to the one who adjusted going into this game. Looking at his adjustments, brought that wheezing. Think about this going into game 4.
Honestly, Jamaarkques, I truly hope that he didn't full pivot to just physical, because as we've seen it, Kindo has gone, from fully special to fully physical to, the whole back and forth. Nice taunt coming out.
Absolutely.
Can't get those talking spikes on the ground.
There, and then Hawks are going to be able to off to a good start.
But yeah, honestly, I feel like at this point in the series, just judging off of play, I feel like Kindo has just shown that he's been the better player today, or just maybe in general. I'm not sure, but obviously comp and draft matters and all that. But for now, it seems like Kindo is just one-upping Jamaarkques. Just look at it, bro. It's on the screen. He's one-upping him in every aspect. It's hard to see how Jamaarkques would come swinging. Even if Jamaarkques manages to win this one, Kindo still has a game of prep or some prep time to adjust and probably cinch it out in the finals here. But hey, stranger things have happened. People do forget that mold breaker exists on Pokemon for the unaware. So, what seems likely to be a victory doesn't always end up being that, unfortunately.
Yes, it is.
But
gonna be a lot of damage on the Weezing though, as Rachi breaks through the confusion. Mark does not opt to risk his Weezing. Just plays it safe, as he does get the confusion. Bounces it out there. Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's really difficult to be the one to go down the match point first, because it's hard to make those adjustments, because you also got to think you have to play at least 2 games on this squad without any changes if you're going to be fighting all your way back, which is pretty hard to prepare for. It's something that always exists in the back of your mind, as we see Flip Turn coming out, no Scald to try and get the burn, and plus onto this Mario going to be coming out, but we do see Petron sitting on that balloon, so not going to be able to get Earthquake by this Lucario. Could potentially scare it out here, but I mean, I don't think Lucario is going to be taking too much from anything that this Petron just it out though. Limit Chain, trying to read a switch into something else, but Jirachi is going to be able to keep that right up, and he keeps day.
I hope you've heard that chat. Hashtag win. Yo, get out of here. What are you doing? That is highly unprofessional for one of the tournament.
This guy comes into the voice chat, plays his
plays his NFL music like
NFL soundboard, and then types in
like, what is this guy doing, man? This guy's trolling, bro. What is this guy doing, man? Absolutely trolling.
Oh my god.
Listen, viewers, I'm sorry you have to go.
Here comes that Skeletor, which is going to put it up to a nice healthy amount, and thanks to that unaware, not going to be taking too much through this light screen.
I also feel like that's still... Oh, no, the light screen's there. I was going to say, maybe it's still AV, but the light screen's there. Boosting up again. One's got to, think like...
This is AV now, as it took rock damage. So,
yeah, that's true.
Does Lynch
Yeah, that's true, because Petron is more physically bulky, and same thing with Lees Galar, as well as Alola Mola and Zamazenta. So I feel like Jamaarkques has to have something to eat the special hits, and that looks like that he elected for Skeletor's to be that thing.
This gets a nice amount of Thunderclap chip way out, and getting that Skeletor does open up things like your Mario and your Blaziken. So, not a bad trade overall, but Jamaarkques is able to eat up the Pokemon count. It's 5-5 right now. But, Kindo potentially bring in anything here. Depending if he thinks it's banned or not, potentially try to go for that Blaziken right here and maybe in. But as we did see, there is a Blaziken on that Petron, so any Blaziken sweep is gonna have to break that first. I don't really think.
I don't think so.
Pretty solid trade overall. This will potentially get momentum, but I think you're okay getting a knockoff.
Yeah, for sure. The Light Blade is going to take down the Light Screen turrets. That's really going to help out the Terapagos, which I feel like is the only potentially special attacking Mon. Speaking of, left on Kindo's squad. It seems like, at least for this adjustment of things. The flip turn does suck though. For Mr. Turtle Terry here, but the leftovers maybe puts him back up. No,
not. But I mean, he's gonna be threatening us with a Terra Starstorm, and now he's back to full. So, I mean, potentially going for the defog there, trying to get these rocks off. But this Terapagos gonna be a very big menace now that it's back at full HP. It's got that shield, and Scizor, depending on the moves on this thing, might have to be afraid. Is only Terra Starstorm though, as it goes for the U-turn and breaks that Terra Shell once again. But I mean, at a big cost.
Zamazenta coming out. This is a good U-turn pivot. It's going to allow Jamaarkques to have offensive pressure here and throw out close combat whatever comes in. However, the Landorus with the Intimidate has been checking this thing all series.
Yeah,
man.
We saw this interaction last series, and it just checks it so well, and it takes so much damage off of that Rocky Helmet chip. Even if it does get a low roll like we just saw, it does potentially go down to this. The crit comes out, nice chunk of damage onto a
nice fatty crit.
Yeah. Little nice damage. It adds up. Even on ones like a Lobomole.
Does it?
A Lobomole might not be the best example, but you would think. Skull does come out, so he does show that. No burn though. And now this Terapagos could be getting pretty scary. Even
this is a really, really good position for Kindo here.
Yeah.
Sack him on.
For the roar, and that's going to be Scizor down. He's in Rock's range, but he's going to be scared off by the Zamazenta. Lando comes back out. Does he live? Yes, he does, and that's going to be a very big deal. At the best case scenario, he takes another round of Rocky Helmet chip.
I thought that roar was a mistake from Kindo. He should have just taken the kill in front of him, honestly. He swapped in, but he swapped in. But either way, I feel like Jamaarkques here could just swap out the Scizor.
Scizor is in Rock's range.
Take a move. Yeah, but you can just throw it out.
Yeah, it does give him a sack. So I think you are right. Especially in these offensive matchups, having a sack is a very big deal. But I mean, again, with that balloon still intact, kind of the only thing stopping this Blaziken from winning the game on the spot. Knockoff is not going to be doing too much, as close combat gets a nice amount of damage. But this Blaziken could potentially start fearing Scalds here with these defense drops.
Yeah, there's a swap there. Then Skull comes out. Burn.
This really doesn't want to be eating Skull. Dodges the burn. And now he goes into Jirachi on the flip turn. He comes out now. It's going to be Zamazenta.
Is he sacking Zamazenta? No, I feel like he has to go Scizor here. Because I feel like Jirachi's faster than Zamazenta with the choice scarf.
Yeah, unless it is that Scarf Zama. I mean, we've only seen him click close combat, and it is scouted, but neither actually goes for a move. So very interesting turn there. Both sides opting to play it safe, and honestly, well played on Jamaarkques there to conceal information there. It could potentially leave Kindo guessing in the future instead of revealing right then and there that he's Scarf. As Terra Starstorm crit takes out 76% from Alola Mola there, and it's on death's door. It's not looking great for Alola Mola. Something has
Like,
to come
yeah,
in. Here
this,
comes that
this is
sack.
where the scissor comes out.
Yeah. Does get another turn of leftovers though, so another protect does actually put it into Terra Terra shell range. Here comes close combat.
100 to 0, man.
There it is. Here is Lucario looking for an E-Speed revenge potentially, but there is a full HP Petron.
Just sitting there chilling with the
Here it
balloon,
comes.
man.
E-Speed.
Oh,
Wow.
it's tough.
This thing's gonna be very hard to kill, but it might
It's
not
a
kill.
close game.
Here's Hex. Oh, and that's gonna be a great switch from Kindo there. And now Terra Shell's back in play again.
He could win it here. He could win it here.
Absolute
It looks
great maneuver.
great position for Kindo here, man. Oh my god. A recover coming out,
There's
scouting.
that recover. It's
A
a roar.
roar?
He might not be able to hit this Petron at all, to be honest. Especially while it's on that balloon. You know, if it's set like roar, protect, and then Earth Power as its attack.
Maybe no, he has Toxic. He has Toxic.
Oh, he has Toxic. Oh, which is also
yes.
walled by Petron. I mean, this Petron's just a very big deal. He might have to flinch it down. Jirachi, to be honest, that may be his big win con. Yeah,
he's
there's
just
the
walking every
Toxic.
time, and with the Regenerator coming out from Alomomola, he does not mind these rocks at all on this mod. Not one bit.
I mean,
The Zamazenta, however, getting dragged out on the Terra Shell. It does not look good for Jamaarkques in this position right here.
Yeah.
This is what Kindo wanted.
Petron's gonna be forced out again and again. Great roar, and these rocks are putting in so much work in this end game. Finally
he sends it.
pulls the trigger on
anticipating
close
the
combat.
roar?
Did he click Starstorm? He did, and that's gonna be the end of Zama.
Oh my god.
Petron back at 50. Could opt to go into Jirachi here. It is risking into that Shadow Ball, or I mean, it is kind of a stalemate between these.
It is, but yo, the TO again in the chat being unprofessional. Yo, get out, man. What are you doing?
Let's get that Toxic on a Mola though, and that's gonna start putting this on a timer. I mean, eventually, we could potentially see recovers run out, but Toxic does come out on Jamaarkques, and that is gonna start to put.
You know, Jamaarkques is still win here. The Jirachi, albeit very powerful in this game. Oh, that flip turn a troll.
It depends on a lot. Jirachi, if he gets a flinch here, you know, it could be a big deal. Again, I mean,
yeah, the Alomomola is just so tanky on the physical side.
Very careful with this. Ironhead comes out, only does 10, but it does live another day.
Regenerating up.
Yeah. And the problem is he needs to keep this balloon.
Yeah, he needs to for the Lucario Earthquake, because if that balloon pops, so does Jamaarkques, finals.
The game is riding on this balloon. Just keeps flip turning it out and recovering with Alomomola, but eventually he gets a turn like this where he is going to be able to get a recover out as Mario comes out. Oh,
Malignant
he doesn't go for recovery. He goes for Malignant Chain.
Oh, that's not good at all.
Mario goes for Earthquake. Potentially just walled by this Petron straight up. I mean, I don't believe we've seen its flat, have we?
There's the Earthquake. Oh.
Going for an Earthquake, potentially reading that
Another
Alomomola.
one. Another one.
There is the end of Lucario. Just no answer to this Petron in the late game. Here comes that Jirachi. Couldn't switch it in before, but I mean, he's going to have to get a lot of Zen Headbutt flinches at this rate. The Toxic on Alomomola does put its timer way lower, though. And now it gets one flinch, and now it is one flinch away.
Don't tell me!
And he gets the flinch, and that's going to be the end of Alomomola. Here comes Petron. It's not going to kill, but if he gets another flinch, it could be over.
Oh my god.
There's the Hex. It breaks through. Oh my god. That might just be game 4 going to Jamaarkques.
That's insane.
Wow.
That's insane, man. Oh my god. One flinch was all he needed. One flinch.
Wow.
60%.
Game 4 was insanely close there.
Oh my god, dude.
Wow.
Insane. Jamaarkques' chance of succeeding his, return to claiming the throne, which one he's defending champion. It's still alive, man.
Yeah.
It's still alive.
Absolutely insane endgame. Down to the absolute wire, one turn away from going over the side of Kindo, but Jamaarkques evens it up, and now, like you said, he's only one game away from defending his title and becoming the Season 3 champion of King's Court Pokemon League. Absolutely fantastic game 4. Wow. Wow. Great endgame there.
Yeah, insane game. I only hope that the 5th game is just as close, honestly.
Yeah, yeah, we can only hope, I mean, we're just gonna have to wait and see what that lies in store for us now, because
Mhm.
I mean, if it's as good as a game as that one, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Yeah. But now we're going to have some time to let Kindo prep, and this will be the final game that we're heading into game 5 after a short break.
And back we are. I mean, win or lose for either side, this is going to be the conclusion of this series. It all comes down to this. I mean, either way,
So
gonna be
ready, man.
yeah, hopefully gonna be a good game after game 4 of absolute banger. As we see rocks go up in exchange for that Scald. Probably gonna want to keep this Lando around, that Intimidate. Putting in a lot of work versus Zamazenta, as we do see Raging Bolt comes out. No booster on this thing, as we just see a drop of Draco does 50 even through screens.
AV or Covert Cloak, maybe? That's what I
Yeah, potentially. I mean, both would be
Bloody.
pretty solid. Covert Cloak
Mhm.
definitely helping against this Petra run, which absolutely went crazy last game.
Mhm.
Single-handedly winning the end game for Jamaarkques. So, I mean, could be a pretty good adjustment. I think the photosynthesis was breaking through a lot, but it wasn't really doing much past that. So potentially valuing this Raging Bolt past just that first switch in.
The Rockbagos coming out. That could be dangerous for a potential Toxic. A Defog, actually, coming out, clearing the rocks off of Jamaarkques' side.
So gonna be a big deal for that Skeleturge. Oh, as we see rocks on 2 Mons.
Oh, that
Exchange.
Toxic Spikes. Is it worth it for Jamaarkques to keep the rocks on?
There
24% coming out.
There are a lot of... Oh,
Skeleturge.
wow. Great roar. Getting a free 25 onto that Skeleturge. It's going to be forced to take that when it comes back in. Here comes Body Slam as a Toxic comes out on his Zamazenta.
Signature.
Yeah, that is a
He
classic
loves that move.
Jamaarkques move, to
He
be
loves
honest.
that move. But you got Toxic on Zamazenta. It's hard to imagine that, Jamaarkques came out favorable in the end there, especially
Yeah.
when Kindo goes here, getting another taunt off. Can't get the
No
Will-O-Wisp.
Wow.
Oh.
And I
it's
mean,
tough,
there's a
man.
lot of Mons that are immune to this Toxic Spike. Lucario and Jirachi and this Lando. As we see Earthquake. Not going to be doing much past that Levitate. But, I mean, just getting some nice damage onto this Lando. Opens up your Zamazenta a pretty good amount. Even though it is going to be taking a lot of chip damage. Thanks to that
Jirachi.
Toxic. Does invite in Jirachi, which is pretty scary.
A Thunder Wave coming up. Does a Will-O-Wisp land?
Yeah.
It does. That is very sad. And we know now that the Jirachi probably isn't Scarf.
Yeah,
if
it
I'm
is.
believing.
It's lefties this game. Still looking for that pretty good Iron Head damage. There's no burn taking it down thanks to those leftovers, and even through that attack reduction, I mean, there's not a lot you can do when you can't even move at all. So, gonna be pretty
Yep,
nice. Here comes that Zama. Gonna be taking some nice chip damage. Could just see the Lando come out, but that is, I mean, this Zama's not gonna be lasting very long. This damage is gonna add up so fast. Here comes that Lando. Gonna be taking Rocky Helmet again as close combat doesn't even finish it off. Doesn't even put it in range for another. And now it's down to 32%. Has to switch it out and potentially bring a wish back.
A brick break adjustment for the screen, so it's interesting.
Yeah, gonna be able to break that light screen we've seen so much. Here comes another Jirachi switch. We're seeing a much more defensive Jirachi this game, getting into the battle, getting into the thick of it this time around, instead of sitting in the back with Scarf. Especially nice since the main threat that you have that Scarf for is already so low, but it could potentially come back here if a wish is passed to it here, but the full para comes out immediately, and now Alomomola could potentially be in some danger. We'll just have to see.
I imagine Jamaarkques goes for another wish, trying to get that Zamazenta back up, but
Another para is rough. Just opts to go for the Sword Stance, and he goes for the wish, not the Scald. So no burn coming out, and now this Lucario could pose a big threat. I mean, you have to imagine after last game, it's able to hit this Petron. So
for
here
sure.
comes Shadow Claw, and that is going to be the move that hits that Petron. Jamaarkques stays in, opting to go for the skull.
Oh,
Could potentially go for that close combat here to go for a much bigger punish onto that Olomomola. Or could just opt to
another
sword stance again,
stance!
but he doesn't scald. He goes for the flip turn.
Oh, Zama's at the comes out here. Yep. Yeah.
Could be Zama, but if this is E-Speed, this is...
Oh, it certainly has to be.
Yeah, it has to be E-Speed. I mean, you'd imagine. It's probably close combat E-Speed Shadow Claw, if I had to guess. Or maybe he dropped E-Speed in favor of Earthquake, you know? You don't really know.
Oh, that's true, but I can't imagine that. Does Jamaarkques really sack Zamazenta here out of all Mons? Like,
it's hard. I mean, at this point, you're not really getting much out of it unless you're able to pass a Wish, which is frankly really hard against such an offensive team. I mean, even Alomomola is probably the best Wish passer in the whole game, you know, with that extremely slow flip turn. But I mean, even that is getting pressured a lot.
Big risky turn.
Yeah,
oh,
there's
no.
E-Speed, but it's gonna be able to respond with a Shadow Claw. I mean, we could potentially see a win con of outlasting the Lucario with that Life Orb ticking down on it, but I mean, it's a hard ask. There's that Earthquake.
Oh
so
my
no
god.
close combat Earthquake instead, and now it's in Shadow Claw range. If you want to go for that,
I feel like
the answer.
I feel like the answer was indeed sacking the Zamazenta and then going out into the Scizor to threaten the Lucario out with a bullet punch. Because right now Jamaarkques is taking free damage, man.
I mean, this is really adding up, especially when you have things like that Blaziken in the back. It's really hard.
I feel like Lucario goes for a Shadow Claw here, and something's dying.
Yeah, I mean, Shadow Claw. If he goes for Shadow Claw here, you could cash in on your Zamazentus stack, and then go into that Scizor, like you said. You could also try and just read a Shadow Claw here and go into something like Weezing, which isn't going to be taking much, but
and then an Extreme Speed right after, possibly Terra Normal.
Just
I don't know.
A temporary solution, to be honest. This goes
Scizor.
right into Scizor as the Shadow Claw's out, and that is his biggest answer to this Lucario down, and it's still at 20%.
Man? What's he doing?
Oh my god, it's going to be in range of another +4 Shadow Claw.
I'll be honest, that's the game, Cardinal.
Oh my god, here comes that Zamazenta sack cashing in, and there's only one turn left, but I mean, this Lucario's already punched such a big hole, and you have to think there's just so many threats on this team. There's going to be more in the back. Wow, I mean, absolutely fantastic start from Kindo.
That was not it.
Yeah, I think you just sack Zamazenta and then revenge with Scizor. But finally, after 3 Mons are taken down with it, Lucario is down for the count. But absolutely fantastic start for Kindo here. Alomomola and Weezing, both going to be paralyzed, both going to be in a terrible spot, and now this Raging Bolt is going to start wreaking havoc. Especially since every Mon left is very physically bulky. It's going to be able to come in, and nothing wants to eat this Thunderbolt. Even Pecharunt, it's not going to be eating it well, and it also pops that balloon, which was so important to the end game. Here comes that Pecharunt. Does eat it decently, but I mean,
that frees up Blaziken so hard now, man.
It does. Blaziken very threatening. There's a nice 50 being dealt with Draco Meteor, but gonna be able to recover that off. And this end game is looking better and better for Kindo by the second. He even got that defog from that Weezing, meaning that Tropgo's no longer going to be hit by that T-Spike, which is very nice, as well as that Blaziken. So, it is looking
bleak for Jamaarkques here, man. It really is. If he manages to somehow come back and pull this off, it's not only on him, it's on Kindo. Honestly, I feel like the game is in Kindo's hands right now, and if he loses it, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. This is looking like it's Kindo's game to lose. I mean, this is such a dominant spot. Weezing, pretty much dead. You know, Alomomola paralyzed, not looking great. And a para from the Thunderbolt. Gonna be brutal for Jamaarkques while he's down. And that is not where you want to be if you are Jamaarkques. That is just absolutely massive. I mean, even without the para, I feel like the route to victory is pretty hard to Jamaarkques. Again, there's these recovers, but I mean, there's only 8 of them, and this Pecharunt is gonna have to be doing absolutely everything Here
Oh,
comes that Jirachi. Psychic Jirachi could just be the nail in the coffin here. We haven't seen every move, as it is Zen Headbutt. Not going to be doing too much past that burn, but I mean, when you're paralyzed and facing off against Jirachi, it could just be pressing Zen Headbutt till the end of time, to be honest.
very true. The Paraflinch coming out for the Jirachi, sending up a wish. Terra Starstorm coming too. It's just looking rougher by the second, man. At this point, man, it's just...
It's not great. Petrant is back to full, though. That does help it a little bit. You know, makes it so that it doesn't have to burn through all of its recovers. And this Alomomola Petrant duo is going to have to be doing the most. But these Terra Starstorm are taking a lot out of them, to be honest. Here comes that Roar. On to Weezing, and no one receives that wish.
And the wish is wasted! Oh,
wow.
No. If that doesn't seal it, man, I don't know what does, bro.
There's that Malignant Chain. Another round of rocks going to be forced onto this duo. Honestly, I mean, the more turns these mons are forced to stay out, the higher the chances that an absolute brutal paralysis comes out. So, I mean, the longer this goes on, the better and better it just looks for Kindo here.
Kindo could just sit here and just roar, man. He doesn't have to do anything else.
Absolutely. I feel like even the long game at this point is favoring Kindo. You know, these leftovers are taken away, and again, there's still the threat of this Blaziken and these Raging Bolt in the back.
Yeah, it's honestly, I gotta say, well played to Kindo here. He played a phenomenal series. I'm wrapping it up. I'll be honest. he played.
Yeah, I mean, we might be here for a while, but the writing is on the wall. It's just being written very slowly at this point.
Yeah.
To be honest, here comes the Malignant Chain. Does he get the Toxic? He does. So that is going to be Blaziken hit with the Confusion. Speed Boost comes out, but I mean, does he just stay in and go for it? He does. Goes for the Protect.
Yo, I'll tell you. Okay, right now, turn 51. If Jamaarkques
breaks,
hey, forget what I was saying.
Breaks through, and now it is just this Petrant. Wow, could just go for a knockoff. He does, and I mean, not many recovers left. This Petrant is not going to be long for this world. You know,
who does Kindo take it to victory with? I anticipate it's going to be the Jirachi coming out here for the Paraflinch in the end.
Might just be. I think that would be pretty funny. You know, this is his ride or die mon. He's drafted this thing 2 seasons in a row. Honestly, known for it at this point. So I mean, could be pretty fitting. Honestly, maybe one of the safer ways. Goes for that Lando. Gonna be getting some nice earthquake damage onto this thing. You know, maybe trying to stall it out of those recovers. Also, honestly, just a para or two away from wrapping this up as well.
Yeah.
There's 53, and that is going to be the paralysis, and that is going to be the whole game in Game 5 going over to Kindo, your new champion of King's Court Pokemon League. Very well played to him. I think he played excellently today.
I agree. I think Kindo really showed up today, and he deserves the win.
Yeah. Absolutely
well,
deserved. You know, going up against the former champ and able to take him down and reign in a new era of King's Court. Very well played to him. I believe we're trying to do a winner's interview after this.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Hashtag Wiggle Whoop win!
Yo, Tio jumping out of nowhere.
Oh, my God. Oh. We'll just pause for a second and bring in our winner for that victory lap. Be right back. Joining us now is going to be the winner, your champion, Kindo. Anything you'd like to say?
Before I say anything, I'd like to mention my good friend here, Rexalis. I think he has a word or two to say about the situation.
Hey, man, you played well. Honestly, you deserved it. Straight up, I'm being honest, bro. I'll eat my words, honestly. I was a Wiggle Whoop hater. From the jump, from the beginning of playoffs, when he first 2-0'd me, I said I was coming back to finals. I struck out in the semifinals. I couldn't do it. Jamaarkques got the best of me, came here and lost to the eventual winner and the new king, first place, Mr. Wiggle Whoop here, Mr. Kindo. I will say, I'm sorry.
Wow.
Honestly, I doubted him. I did.
We love a good humble
I
king.
did. I'm wrong. I'm wrong, man. He got me in the end. Congratulations, sir. You deserve it.
Yeah, absolutely. Very well played. Congratulations. Anything you'd like to say before we can ask a few questions?
Everybody's entitled to their wrong opinion. It's totally fine. And every now and then, you strike out like a buster. Hey, at the end of the day, this is the last thing that I saw coming before coming to this fucking match. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, speaking
If
of
anybody
going
didn't
into
expect
this
it, it was
match,
probably not me.
I mean, what were your thoughts? Maybe versus either Jamaarkques' team or Jamaarkques specifically before this series kicked off.
I had no intent of coming in and winning, to be completely honest, bro. Like, I came in, I was like, damn, I know this guy. I watch his replays. This guy comes with a new setup, new gimmick every time, something crazy. I'm just like, feels like it's going to be unpredictable. And I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. Because realistically, I think a lot of his Pokemon kind of fucked me. But I think maybe at the end of the day, I managed to cheese myself out one more win. So somehow, some way, the lottery came through yet again.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, I feel like I don't even know if I would call that cheese. I would just say that was pretty well positioned and well played from you.
I agree.
What were your main concerns going into that game 2 and that game 4, or that game 5 when you adjusted? What were your main concerns with those?
If I'm being honest, I have literally no clue what happened game 2, or sorry, going into game 2. I knew he was gonna switch from, or wait, I'm having a stroke. Going into game 2, after I won the first match, I was like, I know he's gonna switch to be. I feel like whoever won the first match was kind of destined to win it, because he was just gonna switch from being physical defense focused to special defense in all of his mons, and that's exactly what happened. In which I just switched Lucario to fucking physical, and it kinda came through, but I don't think he switched back to being like physical defensive, and I didn't wind up switching Lucario back, so maybe it was a bad call to even go special in the first place. But like, I knew it was gonna be kind of like a back and forth, kind of whoever gets the counter pick gets like a better setup to counter somebody, and kind of exactly what happened.
Yeah, I mean, some great adjustments for sure showed up. And I guess try to keep this brief. Are you planning on coming back next season? Sorry. And if so, do you have any specific plans for that?
I do plan to come back, and all I plan is to ensure that within my team resides Jirachi. Because at the end of the day,
first pick coming out, or
first pick's coming out.
Wow, I would respect that.
I mean, it's either Turtle Terry or Jirachi. Both of those have been quite literally, well, maybe not so much Jirachi. That Blaziken mon, kind of unbalanced, I'm not gonna lie. But
amen.
Hey,
Terapagos got way too much slack. For how much work he put in.
I will say I was very wrong about Terapagos. Every time I see this thing, it looks a little better than the last time. So.
All right. Something that I haven't seen you run at all, something I do actually have a question about, and it's dangerous saying this as well, because should you draft it next season, it could be added to your arsenal. You ever thought about Rust?
Rust?
Yeah, Rust for the Terra Shell, yeah.
I have no idea what you just said.
Rest, like the move Rest?
Oh, Rest. Wait, I did use Rest in my set against, what is it, against Vaughn.
Aha.
I used Rest with a Chesto Berry.
Got you. Yeah, sounds good for the Terra Shell. I was just wondering, because I hadn't seen it used often, so. All right, cool.
Well, that's all the questions I have. I don't want to waste your time. Any closing remarks before we send off?
At the end of the day, I like a humble man who can apologize when they're wrong.
Of course.
I appreciate that shit.
It's right in front of me, man. I can't be ignorant, honestly.
At the end of the day, it was a fun time, and
yeah, of course, man.
It's all fun at the end of the day, and I'm looking forward to next season.
Wow, and there you have it. Congratulations to our new champion of King's Court Pokemon League, Kindo. And that is going to be all for us. So thank you for watching if you've made it this far, and see you next season.